You're outsmarting me. I don't understand what you're talking about.
And it could scare the clients away Hi everyone, and today I'm going to talk about another reason why branding is really important for art therapists to communicate their services, their story, or just any communication in general. So the one thing that I can say today is that messaging is a good point in terms of how branding can help with that, because messaging and the copy behind your brand really can shift that mindset. Now, as therapists, I understand that you guys went to school and that you guys got, a lot of knowledge under your belt, which is amazing because that's needed. Now, for you to shift that language that you've learned onto someone who has not learned therapy language, that could be very misleading, right? It could really shift their perception because it's like, okay, you're outsmarting me. I don't understand what you're talking about. And it could scare the clients away because when you're talking in this jargon language of therapy, it seems like you're towering over them and kind of crushing them with your knowledge, making them feel not very valuable, or you're not helping them. So you have to really shift the idea of speech to them, because you can easily confuse them. You can easily get them to turn away because they're completely turned off by the words that you're using that we don't understand. What you want to do here is you want to simplify your words and keep things, human talk, like just basic human talk. We're not trying to be academics here. We're trying to really get down to the level of our clients. So our clients don't understand art therapy. They don't understand the terms in the industry of therapy, especially with art therapists that have different modalities. They get caught up in the features that they bring. Oh yes, I offer this journaling session with this amazing art creation session where the art creation is then turned into a journal. And then these features are, very helpful in, getting your stress out or something like that, or getting your thoughts on paper. So those are kind of features. That's not really what we want to talk about. That's the process as well. So when you're caught up in the process and the features, you easily fall into the jargon boat. And we don't want to talk about jargon because that's where people are just whoop over the head. They don't understand. So we need to shift our wording. So the word therapy, that could be easily perceived as a negative connotation to somebody who's not in the mental health realm or the therapy field. So is there another word that you can use that can shift that perception? So maybe it's coaching, or maybe it's mindfulness, or just something a little bit less of a hard word like therapy, because many people get turned off by the word therapy. And we know that therapy is always a positive thing from someone who knows that therapy is a positive thing. But for somebody who is suffering from anxiety or depression, they don't want to hear the word therapy because then they see that there's something wrong with them. And we don't want them to feel that way. What we need to do now is we want to focus our words, language, speech. Our speech needs to be more positive on the positive psychology side, meaning that we need to ensure that the wording that we use makes it feel like the person that's seeking healing is going to feel an improvement within themselves. Like, yes, this is going to make me feel good. It's going to make me, feel better as a person, or I'm going to learn something and I'm going to, get up to that next level in my career or in my life in general. So that they feel like it's more of a positive thing and they're excited to go to it. Not where it's therapy where they said, oh, there's something wrong with me, so I have to go to therapy and I have to go see my therapist. And, it's going to be a very boring session. And we don't want them to think like that, right? We want our clients to be very excited when they come into the room of an art therapy session. And like I said, shifting your words, even though, maybe it's not quite coaching, but you call it coaching because it's a positive term and it's a little bit more comforting and a little bit more engaging and motivating for them to be going to a coaching session. So it's a different way of looking at it. It's more of a marketing thing. Now, you can still call it therapy behind the scenes, like when you're actually working with the person, but as a marketing factor, you probably want to be careful with the word therapy. That's where branding comes in. Branding can help you, shift how you want to sound to others. And when you are able to kind of classify how you want to sound, it's just going to be consistent through all the other areas in your business. It also taps into an emotional aspect of connection. So branding uses the power of storytelling to get people engaged and to have an emotional response to a brand that will either get them to take action, whether it's jumping into your session or following you. That's why branding is important here, because you want to tell a story that, inspires someone else, that encourages them to come on board. And when you're able to do that, it's just going to be endless, connections after that. So branding allows you to be consistent through your messaging, through your voice, and through how you communicate, whether it's storytelling or whether it's your copy. And when you're consistent, you're able to get people that you really want to work with to believe in you, your services, and art therapy itself, as well as understand the value that art therapy brings. And when you're able to do that, your clients are going to be your personal marketers, where they're going to talk highly of art therapy. When you're doing content, branding plays a big part in that, because like I said, we are focusing on how we want to sound and how we want to be perceived by others. So when we're looking at that aspect and focusing on a specific problem within the market, you're able to create content that's very focused on a person's needs. And when you're able to do that, there's trust. You can build trust, and then they see the value. When they see the value, then they will take action, right? So this is why I say that when you're thinking, oh, branding's not for me, it's not for art therapists, or is it even going to help with communicating art therapy? Yes, it does. It really talks about really improving your messaging, understanding your ideal client. When you're able to do this, it's just going to be smooth sailing afterwards. Everyone needs branding. And in terms of a marketing standpoint, like I said before, the language that you use when you're talking to your people is going to be extremely different to the language that you use with your other therapist buds. Okay? So you have to ensure that you break that apart. That whatever you're talking about with other art therapists, you can use your jargon. But when you're talking to your clients, you want to make sure that you're using language that they can understand and that if you have to change the way that you're putting your offers up on your website, you just do it, okay? Because this is a marketing purpose reason why we have to change some of the languages in order to get people on board. So other than that, thank you so much for tuning in today. This was a very basic video today. It was really just talking about communication in terms of context and messaging, because many people get confused that you have to talk, as a professional with the terminology that you've harnessed and learned. But really, it's actually quite the opposite. You have to pretty much strip away everything you know about art therapy and therapy terminology and knowledge, and you as a skill here, you need to adapt a skill where you're able to take what you've learned as a therapist and translate it into something that's a bit more simple for your clients to understand. So I hope that was your takeaway for today. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful to you, and I hope to see you around in my next videos. Bye!